In this video, I'll show you how to create a cityscape from an eye level view using a vanishing point and some straight perspective lines. As you can see in this real photograph of a city from eye level, the lines of a street all go back into one point, which is our vanishing point. The straight lines that meet it are called our perspective lines because they go towards that point. This also happens with the front of our buildings. The tops and the windows all go back towards that vanishing point. The sides facing us, though, remain straight up and to the side. So only the fronts of our buildings will show those perspective lines. For this project, you'll need a piece of paper, a pencil, something with a straight edge. I am using a piece of old cardboard. You can use a box, a book, anything that has a straight side to it. And it would be helpful if you have an eraser, but it's not completely necessary. First thing I'm going to do is put a vanishing point in the middle of my paper. That is where all of my perspective lines are going to meet. All of the lines that make it look like our picture is going back in distance or to make our buildings look 3D. So first I'm going to start with the road. I put my straight edge so that it touches the dot and the bottom of the paper, and I'll do it again on the other side. So it's against the dot, I push my pencil against it and drag it down to the bottom of the paper. This created a road that looks like it's going back in the distance. As things get farther away, they look like they get smaller, so that is what our perspective lines are going to show us. Next up, I'm drawing a building. So with each building, I'm going to start by making a rectangle that touches the road and then moves over. So now I have a rectangle shape with the sides of my paper, and I'm going to take the top corner and draw a line that comes down and matches with my vanishing point. I didn't do it too big because this is just one building. And then I'm going to draw a straight line, a vertical line up and down that goes from that line I just drew to the road. That first rectangle we drew was the side of a building, and the front of the building looks like it's getting smaller with that diagonal line going towards the vanishing point. So now I just started creating another rectangle that goes behind the building I just drew. So I drew the top of it and two lines coming down. One of them stops when it hits my first building and the other makes it all the way to the road. Now again with that top corner, I'm going to match it with my vanishing point with my straight edge, and I can draw a line. Sometimes it helps to go all the way to the vanishing point, but that would be a really long building. So I'm going to figure out how big I want my building to be the front of it, and then I'll draw a straight line coming up. This is just when you really need an eraser. You have to erase that line when you're finished because it is just helping you with the perspective of the front of the building. So I like to do it without much erasing, but that is also an option. I'm going to do the same thing for my next building. I'm going to start with a rectangle with a straight horizontal line on top and then a vertical line coming down to touch the road. And then that top corner is going to come in line with my vanishing point, and I'll draw a diagonal line that goes straight to it and then a straight vertical line coming down to the street. So now I have three buildings, the sides of them facing us that are straight and the line that matches our vanishing point for the front. And there we go, and here's the fourth building. So I did that all on one side. I'm going to do the same on the other. So just the same thing, shape first, the rectangle first, and then connect your top corner to that vanishing point and then go straight down for the other side of the street. And I'm just going to keep going until I reach the end of this side of the street. And now that I've finished up all my buildings, I can make a horizon line, or the line where the sky touches the ground, so a straight horizontal line at the end of my road. And then I can start adding details like clouds or the lines that are in the center of the street. I can even add some sidewalks on the side of the road. I'm always going back to my vanishing point to make sure that everything has the right perspective, and I can even go back and erase something if I think it looks a little bit wrong. And then I can even go in and I can add some windows to my buildings, but I'm making sure that I use my vanishing point to make sure that it looks correct. And as you can see, this is going to take a lot of work. So we are not going to finish with these artworks this week. We're just going to get started. And all I want you to show me at the end of this week is your progress. So wherever you are, and I can give you some tips, and we can talk a little bit more about it when we have our next art week. Can't wait to see your art.